Hello, Heather from Metal Dog Tarot here. Gonna do we'll see. It feels like I want to do a thorough reading to find out what's going on in the stars right now. We've got a couple of big planets next to one another, at least from our vantage point here on Earth, and they're snuggling up together with their opposite energies. And when a conjunction is what is happening, is the more technical term for the snuggling of Saturn and Neptune. Saturn is that taskmaster, where's your plan? This is real life. Here's the boundaries. And I was reading about these boundaries, and they're like the boundaries of nature, of the natural world. Things, gravity makes things fall down. You must die. You can't live eternally. So if there's been an impulse to break these laws and other kinds of laws and boundaries, Saturn is going to come in and, rain on that parade. Then you have Neptune, who's this expansive and watery and, I think of the god Poseidon, brings earthquakes. And if you read about Theseus, he would get these headaches. He would know an earthquake was coming. So it's the god of the water, of the oceans. And Neptune also is associated with corruption too. So with breaking down and dissolving boundaries in ways that could be positive, Neptune can also bring some of this corrupt energy that we're seeing at play. I mentioned in a previous little brief reading that I did more for the personal and the collective that the last time these two planets snuggled up together in their conjunction, we had the Berlin Wall come down. We had the Velvet Revolution in Czechoslovakia. Oh, and I came out of the closet. So it was a big year for me and the world. And it was also Tiananmen Square, where the Rainbow Warriors confronted a tank. And so if we're feeling some of this energy right now in the collective, there's an astrological explanation for that. It's kind of fun to look at astrology, and I'm a tarot reader, so I'm going to look at some cards to see if there's anything that we can find out about what's going on in the collective, given what's happening out there. And it's been going on for about a year, since January. So if you think about these kinds of things happening in the political realm and in your life, that wouldn't be surprising. And it will wrap up. See, I know in July they start going retrograde, which means they're going to review what they learned together. And then it won't be until, I believe, January of 27 that this is over. So we've got some more time to see what unfolds. So this reading, I like to center reading around advice and insight into what's going on. And so I'm going to start with a card. It's what is this about overall? Oh, we have some wish fulfillment. So if you've been wanting this or looking forward to this and you feel hopeful about what this may mean for the world, for you and your life, that's coming in here loud and clear. And then one card underneath is the Lovers. I think about spring when I see these geese. They're starting. There was a little period here where I live in northern Arizona where I saw geese and ducks, and then it has since snowed, which I'm kind of curious, where they went for that. Hopefully just down the mountain a little bit. But this is the Lovers card. This is about your soulmate connection. It's about that connection that unites two lovers in heart, mind, body, soul. It's a pretty significant connection. It can also be about a choice. And the Lovers has a relationship with the devil, in that it's these two figures, and in the Lovers, they're kind of sublimating, that is, setting aside earthly desires, those baser urges that you might associate with the devil, in order to achieve a higher ideal of love. And so if we've been in some times that have been kind of run by cruelty, greed, corruption, to see the Lovers as a motivation tells me that there is like a higher ideal of love. It's very much about unity, about choosing your higher self in order to connect. So there's usually like in a partnership. So if you're thinking about collaborations that could be romantic, but it could be another kind of emotional connection. There's lots of cups here with the Nine of Cups. I don't really find the Nine of Cups to be a super interesting card. It's very simple about wish fulfillment in the emotional realm. I like that. I want that for you, but there's not a lot to say about it for me. And it feels peaceful. And I see the blue color here, just like it's a part of the spectrum, and moving up into the purple. And blue, I've learned from other tarot readers, has to do with authenticity. There's a much broader spectrum interested in this truth as a form of wish fulfillment. Okay, I'm going to use the next deck here, the Guardian of the Night. I'm going to hold this up. Let me tell you what I'm using here. So the first deck that we've used was the Wild Unknown Tarot. It's my first deck that I ever got. This is one of my early decks too. It's a freaking beautiful deck, the Guardian of the Night. And I have many decks by this artist, MJ Kulinon. And she does collage to create these beautiful images. And anyway, a little commercial where I get nothing back. It's just our decks become our friends. Like they are loved ones, and they communicate with kindness and gentleness, and they're constructive. And being a tarot reader feels like channeling, and the deck learns my interpretation of the cards and communicates to you through me, through those interpretations. That's what it feels like, and it's a pretty awesome, fun feeling, and it's pretty fun to share it with anyone that has time to watch it. So I have a few friends that like to watch my readings and find them valuable, and a few strangers too. I have a YouTube channel by the same name. So I'm just talking while I shuffle and split the deck. And yeah, I'm going to give you a little advice. This feels like a little bit personal, a personal desire within the collective. And so I'll give you a release, embrace, review, what the tarot wants you to know, and what's coming in the future. And then we're going to clarify with the Dark Tarot, which is a pretty cool deck. All right. There's lots of strong women with big swords. Okay, so let's see. What should we release? I fully agree. Ouch. The Eight of Swords. Trapped in our minds. It's like our eyeball being pierced by thoughts, which are very sharp. What we still see here is a root system, a snake, some owls flying around the moon, underground. It's very mycelial for me. It's almost like there's like a seed that can burst forth and bloom, like come up through the earth in the spring. And remember, I had that sense of spring when I saw this card. So it feels like this is seasonally like our anticipation of spring. I know I'm looking forward in my neighborhood to making connections with my neighbors to see how we can help each other out should those dark forces out there come to our town. So yeah, Eight of Swords. If you are afraid, if you are stuck, if you are trapped in some way, and you think you're going to get hurt if you go out and do the thing, that's in your head, And I like to think in the collective things, and when it comes to like organizing and like being a part of something that leads to a Velvet Revolution or the Berlin Wall coming down, or just simply coming out of the closet, as I did in 1989. This is saying all those fears feel so real, but they're in your head. You're just a little nobody. And I like to be a little nobody. So I like that very few people watch this channel. It means like the people that come here, maybe this is really about you because it's not a diluted collective. So I'm not in this for the money. I'm in this for the fun. I like to play. What should you embrace? Oh, yeah, 10 of Pentacles. Very spring feeling here. 10 of Pentacles, this is about abundance. We got all these bees. They're doing their work. They're collecting the nectar. I'm really getting a mutual aid encouragement here. What are you doing? I'm starting to improve the soil in my garden. I'm going to go talk to my neighbors about composting together. Just kind of see what people want to do. This is exciting. Yeah, everything seems to be collapsing, and then it's a beautiful opportunity to not get up in our heads and afraid to come out of the ground, but to like bloom. Come out, bloom, hang out with some other bees. Be nice to your neighbors. We are reviewing, yes, okay, so I feel like I'm talking to people who've been like, oh my God, I tried to change the world and it sucked. This is a Four of Cups, been there, done that. I love this particular Four of Cups because this little armadillo is using her core muscles. She has gone to the gym, as I did today. Well, I went to kickboxing today. She has gone to the gym. She's hanging from that bar. I sort of thought of a hanged man, which is a card of being stuck until you get a new perspective. And this hanging armadillo has turned away from the empty cups that bore no wine or fruit or whatever. I'm mixing all my metaphors towards this new hope, this new possibility, this divine love. It's like a very hopeful Four of Cups. So if this may be something that you've recently experienced, maybe over the first stage of this conjunction, this year that has passed, you moved through like, oh no, here we go again, into, you know what? Those people up in Minneapolis, I'm inspired by them. I know that happened to me very recently. Minneapolis, looking on my Substack, watching, gosh, I can't think of the Substacker's name, but she would give us good news from Minneapolis every day. And it was really moving to see the kindness of neighbors towards strangers. You know, I want some of that Minnesota nice in my life. I think that should be the new norm. I think like that is the aspiration that I see in this. So, right, I'm liking this. Okay, what the tarot wants you to know, which is hidden from you. How could this be hidden from you? Okay, there's a Nine of Swords. So, if you have anxiety and are experiencing insomnia, you know that. So this is somebody else's anxiety. This is somebody else's fear. It's almost like this little bear is asleep, and this one is watching out for this little bear. So if you're the little bear who's asleep, I'm thinking maybe you might want to know that you can wake up, because even though it's scary, you got a big bear to support you. You know, it's you're not alone feeling here. So you may not know that. You may also not know about those ideas and thoughts that are, so a 9 at a 10 is over, right? So if we think of thoughts, swords, truths, like they can also be paradigms, like ways of seeing the world and understanding the world. So you may not know that we're at a 9, and when we get to 10, you're going to see a body that's stabbed 10 times, and the new dawn is coming. You know, it's over, and here's the new dawn. So thinking about this sort of anticipation of spring, this sort of thinking about embracing this ideal, all of us doing our little garden projects or whatever it is that you've been straining your little core muscles, thinking about that new hope, that new love, that new idea. There is something here about love. And I'm thinking collectively, like, and it can be personal. You can totally be completely self-centered, just kidding, and make this reading be about you and your personal love life. But I feel like this is bigger. This is the big love. This is divine love, and that this is what you turn towards. You've been moving towards looking at that. And So this paradigm is almost over. You may be aware of that, but it looks to me like you're not aware of it. But you are protected and supported by this nice polar bear. The big love has got you wrapped up in her polar bear arms. Okay, what's going to happen in the future? And I don't even know when this future is. Let's see. Woo! Queen of Swords. I like her. She has clarity. She removes what does not work anymore. She will cut out the cruelty, cut out the harm. Yeah, we like having the Queen of Swords with us. She is done, and we see that. So it makes me feel like a connection here between this sword is coming in. That's the end of the paradigm. I mean, I like a lot of things about this paradigm, but this underlying card speaks exactly to what I don't like about it. This is underlying energy for this reading. There's inequality. There is somebody who's taking advantage of generosity. It's a Six of Pentacles. So we have like this water buffalo. And sitting on the water buffalo's head, he's like, the water buffalo is letting this little bird sit up there. But the bird's pecked a hole in the head of the water buffalo. Ouch, right? So I feel like this is, again, it's like these fears. This is like, I'm not liking this. I'm anxious about sharing because I might get taken advantage of. These are thoughts that have crossed my mind when I think about my projects. It's like, what if there's that darn neighbor, the one that just poops on everything and makes it miserable and hellish to work with them. Yeah. So that's underlying, that's here with us. It feels to me like a barrier, but it might also be something, to prepare for. We got to be, I tend to be idealistic, and I need realistic collaborators with me because I'm a big dreamer. You may have that sense from listening to me. Okay, let's clarify. I'm liking this reading. I like the Nine of Cups, this wish fulfillment, very simple, emotional, and this underlying motivation of the lovers. I think it's just so beautiful, and I love that it's spring. I want this soon too, and these little projects that we're thinking about, like they're not that hard. They're not going to be like form an army, take down the government. It's just like help your neighbor, make your neighborhood better, make friends. Or what are you thinking about, What are your legal ideas for what to do? There's too much, I don't know, getting into my silliness. Okay. So we're going to clarify what you need to release. Find out a little bit more about the story behind that. I'm on a slightly small table here, so luckily you can't see. Okay, this dark tarot. So we're going to have some powerful female imagery here. We get the Page of Pentacles, little grounding energy. So we can feel like some of the danger that we're worried about in the Eight of Swords. We can see the Six of Cups. This is nostalgia. This is your inner children. This is childhood. Kind of like, I don't know. Are these images helpful to you? I have a friend that just loves this deck. As of yet, I can see why you're worried. And then we see the Queen of Cups. Emotionally intelligent. She speaks of her feelings. I see like her wrists she's been in bondage, perhaps consensually, because we can see like also around her neck. There's some images of bondage, almost like you've had bondage removed from you. So moving through this like pentacles, I'm so practical, is this, because we're looking at these thoughts that are poking out your eyeball and keeping you from blooming as this little, like I'm just calling this like a seed under the earth, not ready to send up a sprout. So perhaps there have been some practical concerns. It looks a little bit like, oh, this is very scary and dangerous. I almost feel like this is somebody else who's like a kid, a young energy. There's some young energies here who were like, oh yeah, this looks like my students who are like, you old people have blown it and we're not listening to you. Anyone over 30 is not trustworthy. So you can feel some of that. And maybe you're a young person because we have a couple of young energies here, but probably you're old like me or older and very silver and, and what's we want to say, like dashing in your silver hair. I don't know. Who are you? We do see your heart coming out of bondage. So that's exactly what the Eight of Swords is about. It's a kind of bondage that you're coming out of bondage from these fears of the very practical and also of the emotional. And my love of what is and what has been and what appears to be collapsing is nostalgia. It's nostalgia for an idea that has not held up. We haven't loved it enough. So that's what I think about this sort of Six of Cups feeling of here. So coming out of bondage of these very practical, these emotional things that are preventing us from. And Saturn is the practical, and Neptune is the water. So we're feeling these. We can feel this in this conjunction, and we can release it with the way that the Queen of Cups here has been released from bondage, even if it was a consensual kind of hegemonic bondage that you were in. Okay. Let's look at what you're supposed to embrace, being a happy little bee here, working within the collective, working together, believing in the abundance of earth, maintaining that, doing your part in that. So let's see if I'm right about that. Oh, some cards are volunteering by... Wow. Okay. Two of Cups. So this very much could be a personal love story for you that you're having. Congratulations. I relate. Yeah. Two of Cups. Hot. Bring that lover with you along on this. Seven of Pentacles. She's transparent. Seven of Pentacles is traditionally like a stuck energy where you've put in a lot of work and you're waiting for things to pay off. Like the Amazonian reference here with the one breast exposed. I don't know why is she transparent? There's some objectification of women in this deck. It's so that may be a part of what needs to be dealt with in this collective. I feel it is, and we're embracing that. The problem of pedophiles setting our beauty standards and things like that. And then we get, I love this, Eight of Wands. So we can see she's becoming a werewolf, right? This Eight of Wands, take action, communicate. This objectified woman is becoming a werewolf. And that's really interesting. And what does it have to do with the Ten of Pentacles? It was such a happy little worker bees in our little neighborhood mutual aid thing. And then out comes the Dark Tarot. We've got a hot love soulmate connection followed by some, I'm not sure I like this. And you know what, motherfucker? I'm turning into a werewolf, right? So this feels like, to me, like some powerful feminine energy, some Mother Earth energy. And if I think about this just through the lens of climate crisis, of like weather and fire and flood and snowstorms and blizzards, like all of the weird weather is very much the extracted from objectified, thingified Mother Earth retaliating. and turning into a werewolf. If we're talking more about like the cultural world, it's kind of revelation that we've been having, that there's a lot of people with a lot of power who have been really twisted in the way that they're handling things. Being pissed off about that is encouraged here. Is this like embrace that? I read an article that said like we have this idea that going towards anger and catharsis can cure anger, but that's actually the chemistry of the brain. So I'm not a therapist, I'm not a neuroscientist, but I like to read about it. So I'm loose on my facts. But the message was, don't just listen to hardcore badass music and punching bags, which is what I did this morning. Reflect on why you're angry. Reflect on the history that is underlying this anger. And when we reflect on the history, we might ask ourselves, like, how have I been a part of this? How have I played along with this? And there lies your power. Your power doesn't lie in like, they're doing it to me and I'm a victim and I'm hopeless and there's never anything to do. It's like, get into the mix. Go out there and do your part. And if you reflect on what you're pissed off about, and you reflect on the part that you may be playing in what you're pissed off about, you actually have some power. All right? We can't change anything but ourselves. And I wish that I could, I don't know. Do I wish that? I don't want to be God. I really enjoy just looking at me and working on how I can be a better member. I can come from this, and if enough of us do that, we get our wish fulfillment here. Okay. Recent history. You have turned towards love. What does the Dark Tarot say about that? Okay. We have the Seven of Cups. Some illusions, fantasies. I see her in chains. She's been wearing a death mask. Watch out. That's been like, I don't really like this. I don't like how things have turned out. That's a definite Four of Cups feeling. What else is going on here? The Five of Pentacles. I'm all alone. Everything sucks. I'm hungry, poor, left out. This is a poverty card. I feel like these are the three cups that, disempower you, that get you into that Eight of Pentacles. I'm trapped. I don't want to bloom. I'm done with this. You're being encouraged to come out of that. These two cards are good reasons for that. And again, we have the waters of Neptune. Very Neptune, the Seven of Cups, confusion, delusion, fantasy, feeling of choices, so many choices, I don't know what to do. And then that Saturn, like, oh, why bother? You can't ever make enough money. How is this really going to turn out? Like, we don't believe in magic anymore. And then we get the Hanged Man. So quiet, let me look at this Hanged Man with you here. So we've got her Hangman. What is going on? Oh, it's a little bit of, it looks like our Queen of Cups up there, still in her sexy bondage, her unchained from her shackles. And then we've got this monster is actually the Hanged Man. Looks like some green is bleeding out of his back. How satisfying. Yeah, I feel like that is that core, turning to your core energy and, twisting up like this little armadillo towards hope, towards love, towards, this energy, these aspirations of the Nine of Cups here, right? So there's a more that, remember I said I thought of the Hangman, and then we get the Hangman. So recently you had a change of perspective. You were stuck in your fears and in your confusions and delusions, and then you twisted up with your core muscles and you look towards love. So that's our recent story. So you got a new perspective. I love it. Here's what the tarot wants you to know. Remember that little polar bear with all the swords out there, all the night terrors. Well, the anxieties, are they real? Let's find out. Are you asleep? Do you need to wake up? Are you the polar bear? Like, what don't you know here? It's not clear to me. I need help. Let's see what the tarot says. The Dark Tarot says, 5 of Swords. Okay, there's our swords. Some of our swords, at least. So a 5 of Swords is like about winning in a way that doesn't ultimately feel good because it's selfish. And you win and you end up isolated. And it's a form of self-harm to harm others in order to get what your needs met. And there's a lot of that going on in the collective. And, this is, I haven't used this deck in a long time. The 3 of Pentacles. This is about collaboration. And we have the awkward little love story here of this beautiful monster meeting this awkward lady. Yeah, so this is definitely working with people that you don't understand, that don't look like you, across differences. And that a 3 of Pentacles is always about how when we collaborate with others and everybody brings their skill and their viewpoint, it makes things better. It makes it possible to bring a vision into reality. So what I'm learning from this is there's that self-harm narrative of winning in the wrong way, but there's also been an anxiety about, can I work with these others? They're so different from me. Like, they literally look monstrous to me. And then 3 of Wands. There's some waiting for that vision to come in. This looks sort of militant. It's snowy. Remember, we're kind of looking forward to spring in this reading. It's been like a long winter. 3 of Wands, you have a vision. I think these are about your vision. Like, this is your wish fulfillment is this. That's a beautiful vision. And it's like you've been waiting for it to come in. And it's been a long winter. You're armed to the teeth. We got a guy with a sword. We got the bow and arrow. We got the club back here. Right, so these are the fears. These are the barriers. These are the things that are keeping you cocooned. You know, you've been cocooned. You've been afraid. These are the swords here. 8 of Swords, and then this is what the tarot wants you to know. There's 9. We're getting there. We're getting towards the end of this crisis of confusion, fear, bad acting, othering, being like all militarized and violent, right? So I feel like that's coming to an end here. I could be wrong, but the tarot usually isn't. Here's our future. We got the Queen of Swords. She's got the 10th sword. She's bringing in the ending of this garbage. And let's see what the Dark Tarot wants to add to that. Oh, pardon me, I'm humming. I'm just having a fantastic time. A Knight of Swords. There he is, riding in his horse. He's coming in hot, fast, angry. He's about to swipe the head off of the living dead. It's like a zombie attacking his horse. All right, so I like the zombie imagery here for the zombie apocalypse. What else do we have? The Sun, the happiest card in the tarot. Authenticity. She has wings. Again, I see our Queen of Cups in her bondage, her hot bondage gear, right? It's sort of a stark reality here, but the Sun is wish fulfillment, and that's our first card, wish fulfillment. The Sun is just wish fulfillment on the grand scale. Finally, a 7. The Chariot. There's all that momentum, fire, desire coming from the heart. Again, there she is, our powerful queen in her bondage gear, riding forward. I mean, the Chariot is momentum. And so, yeah, I can see that momentum here in our Queen of Swords at this So we've got the truth coming in to swipe out what is dead, the living dead that still walks the earth. We've got wish fulfillment and momentum coming in fast and looking hot. All right, underlying this here, let's see, Knight of Pentacles. Okay, it does feel like it's just taking too long. The brave Knight of Pentacles fighting that dragon. That's a beautiful card, I think. She's electrified. She's on a Pegasus. It's dark and light. The Knight of Pentacles is a slow energy. It's a do it right energy. And, you know, to go back to the beginning, even though we're using this dark imagery of the dark tarot rather playfully, I hope you understand. Yeah, do it right. Take your time. These things where we're making connections, where we're, you know, navigating across like big cultural and interspecies differences, like they take time, and it's best to do it right and to not be in a hurry. We do see some hurry here in the future, and momentum in the future, and decisive action. So, but before we get there, we got to set it up. And so whatever I'm talking about, this could be a story about your personal love life. There's love here. There's Two of Cups here. There's lovers here. Whatever I'm talking about to you through these cards, through this story, what the cards mean, right now it's slow, but it's going to start coming in fast. So right now, do it right. Take your time. Okay. Let me know what you think of this reading. Yeah, I just like nice comments, and I hope people are friendly and generous. Like, I want to make connections across these differences between beautiful monsters and hideous women. And yeah, this is not for you. That's cool. I've only had robots trouble me on YouTube, so let's see how Substack does. All right, have a great day.